Hi, my name is Kelsey Gustafson, and the speech I have chosen is I've Been to the Mountaintop by Martin Luther King Jr. The occasion for this speech was to aid the Memphis sanitation workers' strike and to protest and shed light on the colored employees' unfair low salary and their poor working conditions. I've Been to the Mountaintop is a speech that is not easily forgotten and is held in great honor. Sadly, this speech was King's final public speech as he was assassinated the following day. Many people look upon this speech as a reminder of King, the great man and speaker. King's last speech radiated the kind, determined, and fair individual he was, and proved to be a great speech in that he spoke proudly and with confidence, desiring unity amongst all people, regardless of their skin color. The audience for this speech was predominantly African American individuals who were churchgoers, people for civil rights, or people who wanted to see the great speaker. Martin Luther King Jr.'s implied audience was America and all of its citizens. The message that this great speech sent out among the nation of America was one of unity. We have to come together as one and be brothers, helping one another in love. As King said in his speech, either we go up together or we go down together. Martin Luther King Jr. occasionally throughout his speech even talked on death and shared how he ultimately just wanted to do God's will. Martin Luther King Jr. used pathos in this speech and really keyed in on emotion. He was a passionate speaker, and his words tugged at his audience and made an impact on their heart. He also used logos, which made this speech relatable and also reasonable. Martin Luther King Jr. used a few similes in I've Been to the Mountaintop. For example, like sardines in a can, and let justice roll down like waters, and righteousness like a mighty stream. He also used anaphora, which is the repetition of key phrases. If God gave him the opportunity to live in any age, King said in his speech that he would go to many ages, and after each age that he described, he said, "But I wouldn't stop there." To me, this means that he wanted to see all he could see, do all he could do, know all he could know. But in terms of the speech, I believe he meant that he wanted to see God working in every aspect of his life. Now on to my memorized speech. Something is happening in Memphis. Something is happening in our world. The nation is sick. Trouble is in the land. Confusion all around. That's a strange statement, but I know, somehow, that only when it is dark enough can you see the stars. And I see God working in this period of the 20th century in a way that men, in some strange way, are responding. We mean business now, and we are determined to gain our rightful place in God's world. And that's all this whole thing is about anyways. We are engaged in any negative protest or in any negative arguments with anybody. We are saying that we are determined to be men. We are determined to be people. We are saying that we are God's children. And that we are God's children. We don't have to live like we are forced to live. Now, what does all of this mean in this great period of history? It means that we've got to stay together. We've got to stay together and maintain unity. Now let me say, as I move to my conclusion, that we've got to give ourselves to the struggle until the end. Nothing would be more tragic than to stop at this point in Memphis. We've got to see it through. And when we have our march, you need to be there. If it means leaving work, if it means leaving school, be there. Be concerned about your brother. You may not be on strike, but either we go up together or we go down together. Let us develop the kind of dangerous unselfishness. That's the question before you tonight. Not, if I stop to help the sanitation workers, what will happen to my job? Not, if I stop to help the sanitation workers, what will happen to all of the hours that I usually spend in my office every day and every week as a pastor? The question is not, if I stop to help this man in need, what will happen to me? The question is, if I do not stop to help the sanitation workers, what will happen to them? That is the question. Let us rise up tonight with a greater readiness. Let us stand with a greater determination. And let us move on in these powerful days, these days of challenge to make America what it ought to be. We have an opportunity to make America a better nation. And I want to thank God once more for allowing me to be here with you. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop, and I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to longevity has its place, but I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain, and I've looked over, and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know that tonight, we as a people will get to the promised land.